Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Gavel Gang Podcast, an insight into the collections we get here at Eubanks Auction House in Surrey. Hello everybody, and here we are on another Gavel Gang Podcast, and today I'm here in the entertainment cabin with James, and James is in charge of video games. How you doing?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm good. Can I just say before you introduce yourself, if anyone's wondering what the noise is, it's not Alistair frying eggs in the next room, it's actually rain. It's raining very hard on the cabin, so just straighten that out. So games. What's going on in your room, James?
So, you and I took a little trip to Leicester.
We did.
About 4 weeks ago.
My home city, so I know it well.
Was it nice to go back?
Yeah, it was nice. I've never been there and back in the same day until we went, which was quite a first.
First time for everything. And we had tea with your mum, which was very nice.
We stopped and had tea with my mum. And she said that she almost hit me over the head with a rolling pin. She thought she was being burgled.
She did, yeah.
So that could have gone wrong.
But you remember why we were in Leicester?
I do. It was to go in our works van and collect a huge, very impressive games collection.
I believe it was 800 games and consoles. He's got a collection of, he thinks, 5,500 plus games and consoles. And he's trialling a Nintendo auction, so it's all Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 stuff, and if that does well, then the rest is open for us to come and collect. So I imagine you and I in the new year might be organising another trip to Leicester. Yeah,
what are some of the prize lots in there so far?
It's a weird kind of thing because he's accumulated a lot of stuff that if your average Joe came in off the street, like they often do with something really cool, something really unique. For instance, there's a kind of limited edition Pikachu Nintendo 64 console that's quite a high ticket item. And it's like, he hands us all these boxes, open them up, oh, there's 2 in there. Any other day of the week, that would be one of your favourite things through the front door, and then all of a sudden this guy's got 2 of them. And it's bizarre because it's all incredible stuff, but it just kind of desensitizes you to it because it's just all good. It's just all really good stuff. In terms of star lots, it's a real mixed bag of kind of boxed items, complete in-boxed items. But yeah, the big one is Captain Commando, which we've seen come to auction before actually at Eubanks, but that is high estimate £1,000. Another one is Chrono Trigger. If you go on our website, that's actually currently the hero image of the Nintendo collection. But Chrono Trigger's a really sought after JRPG, Japanese RPG video game. It's famous for its art by Akira Toriyama, who, if you're a fan of the Dragon Ball series, then you'll be familiar with him. That's a really high ticket item as well, looking at a high estimate of about £600 on that one. There's a Super Metroid in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of loose cartridge stuff, which is surprising because we were unsure. I think when you and I picked it up from the van, we were concerned about the repro labels on the front and whether or not they were genuine. And for instance, we've got Mega Man X3, which is coming. I was really surprised because I was just not convinced that it was going to work at all, and we managed to order in a adapter which can just plug into the monitor that I work from. Yeah, we just plugged in the HDMI adapter, plugged in a SNES, and to be fully transparent, it took a few attempts, but it was working, and I was playing Mega Man X3 and getting paid to do it, which is always fun. It was quite surreal to play such a weird, sought-after video game like that, and I think the reason some of these games are still held in such high esteem is because they're not available on things like Nintendo Switch Online yet. A lot of these virtual console things, they're more commonplace now, and suddenly the value can tank. And actually, I think you've got a friend, haven't you?
Yes, one of my friends who we can talk about later, but we worked in the game industry, and he's still got his copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day, and that will be NTSC, because we used to get a lot of NTSC games gratis as employees. So yeah, he's got that, and currently that's not on streaming, is it?
Yeah, I think that's about £250 for a boxed complete copy, and obviously he's kept it in good nick by the looks of things. But yeah, like I said to you, if that suddenly just appears on Virtual Console, it could just completely tank the value of it. So some of these things go from being quite sought after and rare to suddenly just everyone can play it.
So the message is, if you got them, sell them now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In fact, my friend who had that said, should I sit on it for another 10 years? And I'm like, well, maybe, and maybe it'll be worth more, but actually it may tank because it may just become available online.
Yeah, and it's really hard to tell because one of the games that's come in with us is Mario Party 3, and I think I said to you the same thing. It's quite a sought-after game, quite rare, and I think literally like last Friday they just added that to the Switch Online service, and it hasn't necessarily tanked the value, but it's just, is it going to do well at auction? I suppose, come January, we'll find out.
Well, there's always people surely who still want physical copies. I know you're a big advocate of physical copies of media.
Definitely.
Because
Well, my kind of logic is, so often I'm around a friend's house or something and they say, oh, where's this movie, where's this game, can I stream it, can I download it, whatever, and these services just change all the time. But if you've got the physical thing in your hand, no one's busting in the window to come and steal your copy or whatever. So I'm a real advocate for physical media, and obviously it keeps me in hot dinners, which is good.
Yeah. And I suppose much like with records, which is one of my main areas, if something didn't sell so well, then they can often be more sought after. And I say that because I saw you had Perfect Dark, a game I worked on, and I was surprised how low value that was, because it's well loved.
I think it was £3, it said, and I don't know if that's partly because, like you said, it needs to come with the expansion pack to play anything other than multiplayer. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. Without the expansion pack, you could only play multiplayer. But of course, it sold millions of copies. Yeah. And most of those copies are still out there, and it was well loved, so very few probably got thrown away or broken. So supply probably outstrips demand a bit on such a popular title. But
yeah. So in terms of your career in the gaming industry, I mean, you were predominantly Rare at the start, was it?
I started in Rare as a tester in 1999.
GoldenEye era, right?
It was the tail end of GoldenEye, so I wasn't involved in it other than looking out the window at all the new Porsches and Lamborghinis and Ferraris that would roll up the tiny driveway in the farmhouse with the money people got from such games. So was considerable.
Was GoldenEye like an overnight success, or was it kind of a slow burn? Because I don't know, did it tie in with the movie release? And I know that historically movie tie-in games are usually just squirted out, not much thought behind them.
Oh, they are. It wasn't the first Bond game tie-in, and usually they were terrible. And there was something about that GoldenEye on the N64 made by Rare that was standalone. You almost didn't need the Bond.
Well, I remember playing it myself, and it just kind of became that primary school sleepover video game. You get 4 guys around, a bunch of pizza, and you just play it. And there was something magic about that, and none of us really knew anything about Bond. We didn't know the characters, we didn't know the history. It was just a really good, fun multiplayer experience.
I imagine if they knew exactly why it was successful, they would have replicated it. And Perfect Dark was, in a way, a sequel. It used the same game engine. It was very similar, but it was not the same IP. But that was also successful. Completely made a character, Joanna Dark. Yeah, so that was amazing. We can talk more over the podcast about the gaming career, because there's a lot to tell. So, but started at Rare. And I'll tell you more in the future about where we went from there.
Teasing ahead. You're a professional.
Yes. Teasing ahead. I'll write that down. It's a good term.
Teasing ahead.
Yeah, so anyway, when's the next game auction?
So, God, this is really unprofessional. Let me get it up.
I don't know anything either.
You see what's really good? I don't know if you introduced me like this, but to anyone listening, I'm editing the podcast too, so I can do whatever I want. If I sound unprofessional, I can hopefully fix that in post. And if I want to put a giant foghorn in now, I can do that. Right. Ask me again, John.
So, James, when is this game auction where we can see these games from the fella in Leicester and everything else?
Right, so we're calling it the Nintendo Collection because that's just what it is. So if you're a Nintendo fan, register for bidding now. It opens from the 21st of December and it closes on the 3rd of January at 10 a.m. So it'll slowly start to tick over.
So that's what we call a timed auction. Where the clock ticks down.
So the thought process there, people with a bit of extra Christmas money, potentially, maybe sat around at home on Boxing Day feeling a bit full and want to spend a bit of that Christmas money, then log in, register for bidding and crack on.
Well, there's certainly love for Nintendo, isn't there? And it's one of the best loved corporations out there as far as I can tell. So I look forward to seeing all those lots online. How you've lotted them all?
343 lots.
Wow, that's some work you've put in.
Yeah.
See how many I've played, see how many I've worked on.
Yeah, and maybe you'll buy some yourself, maybe?
No, I suppose I might actually. I have played GoldenEye again on the N64 at home.
Take a little trip down memory lane.
Yeah, could be time to play it again.
Thanks, John.
Cheers. See you next time. Thank you for listening to the Gavel Gang Podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please subscribe and take a look at the Eubanks website for more information on this and upcoming auctions. Until next time, going.